Hello and welcome everyone here to CEVO Season 4 Main. We've got a best of 3 tonight between SNA plus 4. They're going to be going up against two CHUANZ, a team I have not had the pleasure to cast in a while. I'm Helium, and joining me, of course, is Chicago Ted.
Yep, Helium, first cast of the day and first ban of the day is going to Ember Spirit. Always like to see that. So I'm looking forward to this game, and let's get right on into it.
Let's do it to it. Sorry, fixing some of my settings in game because, you know, I'm unprepared as usual.
Yeah, we get used to that.
Oh, I see how it is.
Yeah, sorry about that. Throwing you under the bus a little bit. Nature's Prophet actually takes out the first ban on the side of SNA plus 4. And I'd just like to note that, at least to my knowledge, this is these guys' kind of semi-pro debut coming out. They just kind of formed up on the remnants of Exile, or on the remnants of Denial and the old, what was their name?
Wild Witch Doctors.
Yeah, Wild Witch Doctors. So these guys are forming up the remnants, and two CHUANZ is a team that's been together for a little bit now, and they've got stability. They are undefeated so far in CEVO Season 4. Let's see if they can give SNA plus 4 a run for their money.
Yeah, and I believe you are right. I think it is SNA. It's an initialism. I usually just get lazy and start saying SNA, but
It's not 4. It's not 4.
we'll see. We'll try to be consistent, but we see a Doom being taken out. Of course, very popular these days. I think the Dream League pushed out some stats today that he was one of the most successful heroes, or one of the most picked. He was in one of those categories, so either way, definitely warranting a ban. Very good at farming down, or shutting down that farming hero on your lineup. And of course, Invoker, the EMP may be a little too strong, so they take it out. And yeah, to talk about the teams a little bit more, it was a split of WWD, which IX Mike was on, and then we've got KVH actually. He's the victor of CEVO Season 2 for Dota when they played for No Fire Wisp Bottom, and I think Dragon Fist is one of these guys. I'm not really sure. I'm guessing maybe BRY, but I don't know. I thought he moved over to this team, right?
Yeah, it's Dragon Fist and Whitebeard both moved over.
Yeah, but I don't know who's who.
Oh, God.
Ush is Ush. SNA is SNA, KVH of course, but we've got some
one of them
picks.
has to be a Whitebeard and one of them has to be Dragon Fist.
I think they have more than just 5 people, no?
They might be subbing out a guy, yeah.
But
BRY,
way.
you know, I think, I can check, I think it's Whitebeard.
Yeah, I think that is Whitebeard. His Steam icon looks familiar.
Yeah, Whitebeard is the guy I checked into the game, so it is Whitebeard.
So yeah, because they yelled at me for not punching Dragon Fist, because I got to hang out with Dragon Fist in Montreal at LAN ETS. So I don't think he's here tonight if we brought up that story.
You have to hang out with a lot of people. Were you down at the Monsterland?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I was cool enough to know about it before it was announced, though, so...
You know, I kind of have to brag, so did I, but through a whole different network. I got my own network building now, but either way, I mean, we've already got 3 picks out, so why don't we start shifting the focus to that? Nyx and Clockwork out on SNA plus 4, and if there have been 2 heroes that have been the big playmakers in the past couple of days and weeks, it's been these 2 heroes. Nyx, his skill shot Impale now is absolutely fight-changing and even game-changing in some aspects if you can hit it on multiple heroes, and Clockwork is a snowballer from hell. If he gets some good XP, good farm, he can really turn the lanes and turn the game.
Yeah, and actually, we see the Ancient Apparition pick up, and we see Nyx and Clockwork, like you mentioned, 2 heroes that we normally see paired with the Ancient Apparition. Nyx, of course, with a Vendetta, can scout around with those ganks. We see repeatedly Clockwork with the hook and the cogs, catch a couple, land an Ice Blast, and then, I mean, really all of these heroes we've been seeing a lot of, and they synergize. Dazzle picked up, of course, his heal, completely negated by Ice Blast, but he's on the side of Ancient Apparition this time, so his heal going to be very effective. Weave, of course, great, so... Not the best supports to maybe roam with and get kills early, but they can definitely have a big presence into the mid game and the late game when they're team fighting or defending / breaking into the high ground.
Yeah, early game they have really no way of locking down a hero. I mean, Ancient Apparition, his Cold Feet does do a good amount if you have a sort of stun to follow up, but Dazzle, until you get level 3 or maybe even level 4, the slow and the stun are not good enough. Yeah, well, you don't have the stun, actually, to
Yeah, it's not
help the Cold
until
Feet.
rank 4 now.
So, I mean, the slow might be good enough if whoever you target doesn't react fast enough, but overall, they're not going to be roaming to
10
much
seconds
effect. I mean,
remaining.
the slow, of course, can help if you are going with someone who does well with slow, maybe a Juggernaut or even a Luna. Anyone that's got fast movement speed and good damage, but
Or another
without
stun.
or another stun, you're right. Maybe
Sven.
yeah, Sven was the first one I think of, but I don't really see Sven too often. We might, but to be honest, the Sven
10
versus the
seconds.
Slar would've
Clockwork
worked.
Nyx might not be the best. Slar, you know what? Thinking about it now, Slar might be the best
He got
of the
banned.
two.
Pick.
He got banned? What? Oh.
As a result, so clearly you are right. He would
Yeah,
have been the
Slardar
best.
would have been the better. I don't think Sven is too good of an option because Clockwork, if you get a 4-staff, just does so well to keep Sven from doing anything. I mean, you hook onto him, even though he's got the BKB, Trapman, Cogs, 4-staff out, well, he can't do anything then. And then you just pick off his teammates, let his god strength wear out, and he's a melee creep.
10 seconds remaining.
That hero's just so boring to me as well. I mean, you're very, very farm dependent, you're BKB dependent, and then everyone these days with the slows, I mean, you can pick up Demonic Purge, Shadow Demon's popular again, and you just can't do anything. He's not the fastest flash farmer because you need levels up in your cleave, which you don't normally get as early, so you do need levels before you can flash farm. I think he's boring, not going to be picked up, should be run as a support, but maybe needs some more mana. Looking at the bans, we talked about Slardar being taken out, of course, very popular these days, very good along with Dazzle. Both of those heroes, great attack animations for the Chilling Touch, however, so that could be pretty strong. As Visage gets banned out, because of course he's always OP despite taking a lot of nerfs as of late, and Storm Spirit, the pick-off potential in conjunction with the Clockwork, and now that we see the IO would have been very deadly, so IO getting picked up there. Third now over to two CHUANZ. Let's see what they want to run.
I like how you mentioned Visage 2 OP. Have you seen Aoi play this guy?
I have.
Of
He's my
course you
favorite
have.
Visage player.
He had the what was it? The second highest net worth on his team with the Visage. That's crazy. This hero can be played so well. A couple of minus armor, you know, the Assault Cuirass, the Medallion of Courage, and then not only do you do a lot of damage, or Dazzle, yeah, but
Or that guy.
he's banned out, but your birds do a lot of damage. So Elder Titan, you know. Now that I think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Oh, no. We're going to see the IO Magnus relocate to a Fountain Skewer? Oh,
Wait,
man.
back to Visage real quick. Remember that game I owned IX Mike as Visage?
Yes, I remember that game.
Get that on the record in front of our 80 viewers here.
It wasn't owned. It was mildly destroyed.
Yeah, I was like 16-2. It wasn't IX Mike's fault. I was actually really scared because he had a ton of items still. I had no idea how he had that many items, but his teammates were feeding so hard.
All right, this is really scary coming out from two CHUANZ. Coming out from both these teams, actually. You've got so much AoE to follow up on that Faceless Void Chronosphere, or even set it up for on the side of the Elder Titan. Magnus IO is a nice gimmicky tactic, but if a couple of them get caught in the Chronosphere, with the skills that two CHUANZ have lined up right now, they've got a wombo to end all combos right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Tiny
We'll
band
see.
out.
It'll be funny to see Io recalling in and then Void just drop a chrono and run away, or drop a chrono and murder.
I like the murder option a little bit better.
I mean, it depends. Wisp is going to die very, very quickly if he gets focused by anyone, of course.
A couple of hits of Time Lock, and Wisp just gets chunked.
Indeed. But I think you just mentioned the Tiny Band, of course, can go with the IO, but I don't know if you really need a paired hero anymore, like we kind of saw back in, like 6.78, or even prior to that. Should be good with the Magnus, should be good with Clock, or the Gyrocopter as well.
Yeah, Gyro and Magnus, I think, are going to be the two main targets, as Nyx and Clock are going to be naturally mobile on their own. Gyrocopter's a little weird for me. I mean, of course, he's a great carry, but when
the Empower is nice.
The Empower is nice, but Gyrocopter falls off to Focus Fire, and Faceless Void is going to make Focus Fire really easily. They don't really have too many stuns to lock Faceless Void out of the Chronosphere. I mean, they do have the Nyx Impale, but aside from that, there's not many ways to disrupt him while he's inside the Chronosphere. So if he drops one on the Nyx plus a couple, Nyx plus Gyro, I guess, would be the main thing, there's no real way to stop one of them from dying. And when you pair up the damage bonus from Ancient Apparitions, Cold Touch, or what do we call that? Chilling Touch, my god. The minus armor from Dazzle, as well as the extra damage coming out from Astral Spirit, reducing the base armor, that is going to be a lot of damage. I don't think anyone's going to be able to survive if they get focused down by this Faceless Void in the Chronosphere.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that the hero is a little more popular now since his recent buff. Because, you know, these combos like we see here, I mean, you could even pick up Lich and throw it in there, Elder Titan, he's going to get these Earth Splitters off, like multiple person weaves. I mean, as good as the Chrono is as good as every other alt's going to be. So it'll be really nice to see that later on. And we could see this Faceless Void getting involved pretty early in this game as a result, instead of just farming and looking to take it late. But we now see Mirana, and there's no better stun to line up an arrow than Chronosphere, despite its cooldown.
And to line up the Starstorm as well. But, you know, I wouldn't have guessed it. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I would not have thought the Mirana was going to come out. But looking at it, looking at how well the Moonlight Shadow is going to synergize with this big team fight they need to set up, you know, it's almost like Mirana's become the sort of Naga Siren of TI2, where that ultimate is absolutely imperative to set up giant combos. And we're going to probably see something like that coming out from this game, so I expect a lot of Dusts and Sentry Wards on the side of SNA +4.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and go over the lineups here. So for SNA +4, I'll say it all, say it all. We've got SNA himself here. He's going to be playing the Wisp, going up into this top lane to support, along with KVH. Make sure to check out his stream. I believe it's just KVH Dota. He's been working on getting some notoriety. Definitely a skilled player. Looks like he's doing carry now instead of mid. We've got Whitebeard, the King of Ember Spirit, this time playing that Nyx Assassin. Into the mid lane will be Ush, playing on that Magnus, definitely of NEL/IXDL fame. And then, of course, the creator of all of that. It's going to be IX Mike, 88 on the off lane. Of course, the off lane on the Clockwork.
Yeah, the moment I made this lobby, I got messages across the board asking why the hell I was in a lobby with IX Mike. And, well, there's your answer, guys. Either way, on the other side of the river for two CHUANZ, we have Kalu is going to be playing Ancient Apparition. Caillou, thank you. I knew it was one of those two. 470 will be picking up the Dazzle. We got almost going to give out first blood. Is Frost on the Elder Titan? Looks like he's going to get away, so unneeded hype. DNR SF.
I think it's just, I'm going to say Darkness, even though that looks incorrect, but it's easier to say.
I'm going to say Darkness as well, and aptly picking up the Mirana with the Moonlight. And we have Hax going to be playing the Faceless Void, and I believe that covers it. So a failed gank out on the Elder Titan. My God, you've got Ember Spirit ingrained into my head right now. Hopefully that gets out of there soon. And it looks like Elder Titan is back at base right now. So smart move, just heal himself up. He's going to be a little bit late to lane, but it looks like SNA +4 was going to force him out of it, force him away from the XP anyway, so I don't think it really hurts him that much.
Yeah, we can see that he did go for the boots here on Elder Titan, so expecting not to do very well in this lane. Scared of the extra tether movement speed, I guess, for either the Gyro or the Nyx Assassin to catch up to him and bring him down. And then looking over at the mid lane right now, I think Magnus is going to be able to farm up pretty nicely and get his items just on time with Mirana. So Ush should have a pretty big impact this game, I think.
Yep, and on the top lane, just what we expected. BRY, Whitebeard, is going to be harassing Frost so hard right now. I mean, he's going to put the second Impale. It's the second one to land. Now we have a Rocket Barrage. Don't think they'll have the damage to pick him up. They don't, but it forces him down to 70 HP. He's got to use up his consumables, and, I mean, he's just got to stay really far back in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think the boots are paying off there. I mean, sure, some instances of damage would have been blocked had he had a Stout Shield, but if the Rocket Barrage would have murdered him without the boots, so I think that's a smart pickup. I guess IX Mike, honestly, was one of the first people I saw doing that. I doubt he's, you know, the inventor. Dota's been out for over 10 years, so... Or just about 10 years? I'm not really sure on that. Frost up in the top lane, though, is going to get stunned out here. He sensed some creep pulling going on. He was looking to go and, you know, of course, get some of that XP because it now splits. But he gives up his life instead. That's a first blood over to an IO, who really only needs levels, and he's up to 2, almost 3 now.
I mean, he kept pushing the wave, and he's continuing to do it. He's really showing no fear, but there's a point where there's fear, and there's just being careful, and he's not really playing it careful. He's throwing care to the wind, and he really paid for it. as he got caught out 3 times in a row, and the 3rd time he finally did drop. I like to take a little bit of focus towards the mid lane. Magnus staying ahead on last hitting, but just by a little bit. He almost died a couple of minutes ago. It was Darkness actually missed an arrow following up the Starstorm, so that would have been the kill there, but very lucky to have dodged, in quotes, the arrow. And back up the top, Frost, catching the tail end of that one again, and he's just there again. He's got
a ward. I'm surprised he's being caught out like this. I didn't quite catch all of that one because I was looking at Magnus in the mid lane without a stout shield, which I found a little surprising. I guess he doesn't really need it with bottle crowing.
He's just got to be more careful right now. He can't be giving up kills. I mean, the Gyrocopter, he's got 1 assist, okay, but he's farming really well. Don't give him any more assists.
Oh, bottom lane. Yeah, Ix Mike in a bit of trouble. That's not going to freeze him in place from the Ancient Apparition. I liked what Hax did. You can just time walk over the cogs, so he can jump right inside, but he did not get off a bash, and that's going to be Ix Mike living there in that off lane. So 2-0 right now for SNA +4.
Right, so, I mean, again, back to what I was saying, he's just got to play a little bit more careful up top. He can't be giving Whitebeard kills. Nyx, a known snowballer. He can't be giving SNA kills because, of course, once SNA hits level 6, things will start getting very hairy. And Frost, again, could get caught out. 1 Impale will land. Now the Spirits, and he's just getting body blocked. The teleports are coming in, and the Shallow Grave. Really, there were no projectiles, really, but the Shallow Grave is just an extra bit of insurance to make sure he stays alive. So good rotation, but at the same time, Frost.
I mean, he needs XP. He's being smart. He's going down here below the camp to get some of that split experience, but it's just good game sense here by Whitebeard. They know that he's doing that, so they just marched around, walked down into the river, you know, tethered over the ledge as well, so really catching him off guard with sort of the quick positioning that Wisp can just pull out on you sometimes.
Level 5 Magnus picking up an Invis rune. He's making his way towards the mid lane, but he shouldn't be able to pick up Darkness. He's got 2 points in Skewer, 3 points in Shockwave. That'll have Darkness. Oh, now he can. If he 5 seconds, if Darkness isn't careful, 1 Skewer, 1 Shockwave could be the end of him.
Yeah, too bad he wasn't 6 there. That would have been a pretty easy kill, I think, on the Mirana. Just Skewer straight into the RP. Yeah, but it's not going to be the case.
No, and it looks like SNA as well as Whitebeard are just kind of hanging back in the river right now. And this is what I see from Frost. A little bit of care being taken, knowing what his issues are now, where the enemy most likely is, and just playing back and not giving up anything. Ix Mike, meanwhile, being really aggressive out on Caillou and only giving himself some XP is what's accomplished there.
Yeah, I think he was a little concerned. Dazzle's off the map right now, so that's 470 rotating into the top lane. He's going to be able to actually save Frost here because he's going to rotate over right in the nick of time once again. Maybe Whitebeard actually overextends. He's taking some tower hits. Moonlight Shadow coming out from Darkness in the mid lane. That's Whitebeard down. So a kill going over to Elder Titan, picking up some much-needed experience. And, of course, he's invis, so the homing missile isn't going to lock him down. And now he actually catches up with Mike in terms of experience in that off lane. And then, of course, back to Mike. He could have easily killed Caillou down there, but he didn't know where Dazzle was. And Hax was actually completely out of mana on the Faceless Void. As we look over into the mid lane right now, Darkness being chased over by Ush. Ush does have RP online, but of course it's been nerfed quite extensively. Only 50 damage on it. The Rocket from Clockwork, and of course that Shockwave just going to be slightly off the mark. As here comes Mike, though. He just needs to pop this Battery Assault, catch up to Caillou. He will get him now. And he's going to not even need the cogs. Magnus is actually going to go ahead and pick up the kill with the Shockwave once again.
And arrows just off the mark from Darkness. He's not feeling his mojo this game. I don't think I've seen a single one hit. He might have used one to save himself from the Magnus in the mid lane. I'm not sure. But yeah, just overall, hitting those arrows is what will net the return kills. And now Hax being cogged in. There's a Mana Burn, an Impale, and Hax should be dead. He cannot time walk out of this. Just kind of has to hope for some dodge chance. Hold on. He might get one dodge. No! Oh, man. The Rocket does stand true. The Flare doing the damage. And meanwhile, Darkness looking for the kill. The arrow again off the mark. Now a hook online for Ix Mike. Is he going to spend it? He doesn't have the line. But
he knows Leap's on cooldown, so he can definitely go for it right here.
He will indeed. There's the hook right into Darkness. Another shrapnel, but he does not have cogs. He's going to dive under tower, though. He is not afraid of anything. Too tanky, 2 CHUANZ, and now Mike is going to get away. The Whitebeard is taking a little bit damage as well. Oh, there's the Impale, knocking back Hacks. He does have a Time Walk and a Chronosphere. There are two heroes really low, but he just can't close the distance. A great use of cogs there to buy some time.
Yeah, I think Hacks maybe still could have gone for it. I guess scared of some initiation. If we look at SNA on the Wisp, or the IO here, is only level 4. Mid lane, though, there's a Grave spent. Ash has dropped the RP. He's got a double damage. The Skewer over. That's a kill on 470. This Magnus 2-0, 40 CS at 7 minutes, 46 seconds. Doing very well. He's got the mana boots, and he's only, what, 800 away from his Blink Dagger, so of course Ush gonna have a very big impact in this game. Looking at the Mirana Darkness, 0-1, so he's taken a death. He's got about half the amount of CS, so definitely not gonna get online nearly in time with the Magnus.
So I'd like to note that CHUANZ is the undefeated team right now in the in Season 4, and the betting disparity actually out on Join Dota shows that it was like 82% of people thought that CHUANZ was going to win. So SNA +4 beating the odds right now, and it looks like they're in a commanding position.
I think that's just due to unfamiliarity with the teams. People probably don't know who SNA +4 was, or CHUANZ.
Yeah, I know. I was really surprised right now.
I mean, I would have bet on SNA +4.
Arrow does connect out in the top of the map right now, and Whitebeard, he will take a fall here, and that's to 3 heroes. So the Arrow, beautifully shot, connects dead on, and Darkness is redeeming himself 1 Sacred Arrow at a time.
Alright, Hacks in the bottom lane, actually going to have to run away. The hook is still online. Ike's Mike going to land it through the fog. Maybe his rocket was giving him some vision there. But that's Mike onto a killing spree in this offlane. He's got a bottle, boots, 1. He can finish up either Phase or Arcanes or Treads, whatever he wants to go for. I mean, Clockwork's pretty versatile in that regard. Could even get Tranquils, to be honest. He's going to chase down Caillou here, and even though Mike's low on HP, Caillou's so squishy on the Ancient Apparition, definitely one of the hero's shortcomings. Thank God he has a few, and that's pretty much the most noticeable. He goes down, and that's Mike dominating now, and a double kill coming out of the bot lane. So he goes for the Phase Boots here. Wants a little bit more move speed, I guess, to maybe chase down the Mirana, the Dazzle, and we look up top, Frost. The rockets are going to drop right on top of his skull. That's KVH on the Gyro picking up a kill there. So the score 9-2 right now as we approach 10 minutes, and it might be 3-9. Let's see, Ush, he has used Skewer already, so he's going to try to throw the RP. He's got the Shockwave. The rocket comes in from Mike. It's another kill. 470 has no mana. He doesn't have the damage. Ush can continue to chase. He's got the mana for 1 more Shockwave after that last bottle hit. He just misses it through the tree line, so good jukes there by 470.
Actually.
Yeah, the mana boots actually just came off cooldown there. But I'm just scared of the TP rotations, and yeah.
He's going to find another double damage. Didn't he have that one of those earlier? Either way, his blink is done at 10 minutes.
With the mana boots and a bottle. That's pretty exceptional timing right there. As we should switch over to net worth. Of course, Ush is leading. He's at 4.7. KVH also at 4.7 right behind him. Hacks here on the Faceless Void going to be at 3.6, and the Mike, that offlaner, going to 1 versus 3 in this lane. He's at 3.3k, so doing very well. He's locked in Hacks here, and I think this could be Mike's downfall finally. The Chrono isn't going to stop the battery assault, but it looks like it's bouncing to some creep, and Hacks is going to pick up a much-needed kill there for him and his team.
Yeah, and Hacks is a high point on the net worth chart. I mean, 4,300, not trailing by too much, and that's going to be the name of the game. I mean, if you can get this Faceless Void farm, he can go a long way, probably more so than Gyro and Magnus. But again, SNA +4 have a really good team fight, and even though CHUANZ has arguably a stronger team fight, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to execute, especially when they're playing from behind. So they're just relying on this this Faceless Void to get some farm, to get ahead, and to hopefully carry them through this game. He's now 300 behind the Gyrocopter, so closing the gap really fast.
Yeah, it's not doing bad at all, and he does have that Midas to keep up with the farming, you know, the stacking with the Helm of Dominator that Gyro did pick up, as we might have an engagement. Whitebeard spent his Vendetta to get over here. He scouts out Caillou. Here comes a relocate on the backside of this. The Grave onto Caillou, going to buy some time for that poor Ancient Apparition. Maybe a lot of time, because the Midnight or Moonlight Shadows has been cast. They have no reveal right now, and of course Battery Assault does not hit through Invis, but it's about to run out. Caillou needs to be careful. 1 Flak Cannon could have caught him astray right there. Mike is on the case. diving behind the tier 1. He's actually going to find himself a dazzle as well. He's going to try to run in there. He's going to be frostbitten or locked up, whatever we want to call that. But the RP comes in on the 2 supports. They don't see Hax TPing, otherwise they could have skewered him to stop it, but good sense by the Faceless Void just to teleport out, and it looks like the bottom tier 1 tower will be taking a fall momentarily.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, the Agent Apparition did so well right there, but he probably could have just straight up tried to TP out, like just gone into the tree line and TP'd out. I know he was being really careful of those spirits, but there's a point where you have to take a risk, because he just gave IX Mike a little sniff, and IX Mike took it and was able to scout out 2 kills. So a little bit of not really knowing what to do, I would imagine. But at the same time, I mean, it was a very tough situation for them to deal with, and they only gave up 2 kills where they could have given up 3 or 4. So definitely not as bad as it could have been.
Oh, but here's Ush and BRY, Whitebeard syncing up once again. There was a dazzle there at one point. He quickly disappeared with that. Just an Impale Skewer Shockwave, I think, is what brought him down immediately. The Fortify is going to be used up here to save the mid-tier 1, but there's no defending this unless Hax is going to roll up here with the Chrono. He is in the mid lane in position. Mike's scouting out everybody right now. Just not scared. He's done very, very well for himself. He's level 10. He's above the Faceless. He doesn't have a lot to be scared of, to be honest. He has a hook up now. Frost, no mana for an Earth Splitter. He will be jumped on by Mike with the hook. And there's the overcharge. Mike going to take less damage, but Hax now jumping in on him. Does he have the damage? He does not. KVH is going to drop a call down on top of everybody. Whitebeard is going to, actually, Gyrocopter going to get the kill on Hax. They continue to chase down. Are they relocating inside of the base here to get the Mirana? It looks like they are. Arrow just off the mark. And I think they will finally have to back off, but very aggressive relocation.
Some good movement, though, from Darkness. I mean, a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of hesitation. He definitely would have died. So he knew exactly, get back, there's a relocate there, throw the arrow, hopefully you'll catch someone. If you don't, then just try to go around them and not get hit by any spells. And exactly what he did, was able to get out of there nicely. But, I mean, they hit the Chronosphere. They hit it on 3. But they still tried to focus down the Clockwork even after it was very clear they didn't have the damage for it. So, I mean, they had the combo, they had the Chronosphere to set up the combo, but they just didn't have the follow-up. And unfortunately, they need to have that follow-up or they're not going to win the team fights. They were really relying right now on the Wombo combo to give them any sort of advantage.
Yeah, look how buffed up this Gyrocopter is. Normally, his right-click doesn't get online until later, but with the overcharge, that extra attack speed as well as Magnus and power, look at that 3-man... Oh, 3-man RP into everything. The Skewer, the call down, the 3-man Impale afterwards. That's a double kill for KVH. And this is going to be the death of the tier 2 tower, as well as, of course, the Glyph of Fortification already used, and a 15-minute Blink Dagger. Or, excuse me, BKB, what am I even saying? And Helm of Dominator up on KVH right now. A 10-minute Blink Dagger is what it was on Ush, actually.
That was crazy. That wasn't an RP into a Skewer or an RP into a Clockwork Hook or whatever. That was, as aptly as you said, RP into everything. And unfortunately, when you're that far ahead, follow-up isn't hard when you've got everyone there. But at the same time, I mean, that's the kind of follow-up, that's the kind of team coordination you need in order to win these team fights. And again, it's easier for an SNA +4 because they're ahead, but I still believe if 2 CHUANZ can actually set up the 4-man Chronosphere, have the Earth Splitter there, have the Astral Spirit boosting damage, the Weave on target, the Starstorm arrows doing all sorts of damage, I am 90% sure that they can win any team fight with that combo, even this far behind. We take a look at the Golden XP. It's scary.
It's not pretty.
But it's not impossible. I've seen worse. So hold on. It's up to them to try to make this happen. It looks like the hook going to go out onto Darkness, and he's going to leap away. The Earth Splitter does connect onto Clockwork alone, and now the Impale. Frost, he's going to take the back end of that one, and 470 skewered right back into the danger zone. Pops out the Shallow Grave, but unfortunately, there is not much he can do. The arrow does connect on Ush, but unfortunately, that's not enough to save his little magic casting friend there. And now it's back into Roshan, back to business. Ooh, a great 5-man Ice Blast. Actually connects into the Roche Pit. That would have been better to initiate the fight.
Yeah, it's hard, though, to get them all clumped up. The fight was fairly spread out, and I think it was on cooldown Ancient Apparition opened up the fight sort of with the Ice Blast. I think it only landed on 2 or 3. And it should be mentioned that Ancient Apparition is one of those heroes where it's a lot easier to play when you're ahead and you're dictating the game. Like, if you had the clock or you had the Nyx and you're running these ganks with the Ice Blast, getting pick-offs with just your 2 supports, but I think Dazzle as well, even a pretty momentum-based support, easier when you're ahead, sort of dictating the pace of the game.
Well, definitely Dazzle, but I think Ancient Apparition, if there's any hero to really help turn it, like play really defensively, Ancient Apparition is not too bad. I mean,
but when you're level 6 with a rank 1 ulti and the enemy team is level 12, the Wisp is 9, Gyro's 11, Clock's 11, it just doesn't do as much.
There's a point to everything, and I know they're behind and far behind are 2 different scenarios. But in terms of behind, Ancient Apparition has great counter initiation. Right now, does this Ice Blast help? Yeah, sure, because you only got to take out 90% of their HP as opposed to 100. Okay. But is it game changing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, have they even really taken 90% of anyone's HP? They've done it 3 times at least, but so far haven't been able to really sync up with their combination. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier when they're defending on their high ground, of course, for 2 CHUANZ. That's kind of where this lineup, had them. Like, if they got early game with the Mirana and the mid game, getting those pickoffs with Dazzle, graving anyone with the clutch plays. He had a few of them early even. Frost could have done a couple more times, and maybe they stayed a little more on par. But I think with the hyper ganking lineup that SNA +4 has, it'll be easy for them to just grab one person and then break the high ground, especially with the Aegis now up on Clockwork.
So one thing I really like from 2 CHUANZ is they're stacking up their camps really well, and I just saw them take out the camp right here, so good job. But I'm gonna shut up for a second, as it looks like we might see an engagement. Both teams are just kind of staring at each other. Nyx scouting out everything, and now the hook.
Yeah, Mike gonna start it off with the hook onto 470. That forces out the shallow grave already. You don't really want to use it on yourself when you're Dazzle, but he has to, and he will go down. He buys some extra time with it. He's going to be back in 20 seconds, so I mean, honestly, this tier 2 will die, and then they'll be faced to break the high ground. Dazzle, being only level 6, will respawn, so that's one advantage to being level 6 when you're this far behind. You don't need to buy back, you just respawn so quickly. That's kind of trolly to say, but sometimes it's almost true, as it is 21-3.
Weave also has a really good uptime, so he'll have that back up in 10 seconds. Breaking the high ground with no armor is difficult, even when you're this far ahead, so you're just going to have to wait and see if they can get that team fight they're looking for, and then maybe try to start closing this gap. But at the moment, it's looking really scary for them, as KVH is just sitting on the high ground with Aegis in hand, not really worrying about anything.
Yeah, trying to wither down KVH, but I guess the overcharge and the tether going to come out from SNA, so he takes less damage. They want to keep that Aegis online as long as possible. Hook in, though, from Mike onto 2, and I think this might just seal the deal. Chrono, though, going to catch a couple. Ush can't get it done on the backside because he's stuck in the Chrono. No one has died yet on the side of SNA. We already see the 2 people that Mike hooked up have already died. KVH, he's going to get his Aegis popped right now. Whitebeard's still alive, has an Impale, will use it onto Caillou. Caillou going to drop quickly. KVH respawning, and with 3 dead on the side of 2 CHUANZ, it's going to be Glyph of Fortification, and then likely a dead tier 3. They're going to need another creep wave. And Mike could use some HP, but there's really no urn. There's no mech, I don't think, either.
If that arrowhead connects,
there is an urn on SNA.
So, I mean, Io did die and buy back. They used the Aegis on Gyro, so not bad, but Skewer almost connecting on the hacks, but they've made a beautiful arrow. This could be KVH taking a fall, and now the Impale into BRY, but that's not gonna help him. Now Darkness, he's pushing the advantage way too much. Shallow Grave helping him stay alive, a great stomp, and now hacks going to work, but not enough. Next, BRY, Whitebeard actually going right behind. He now pops a Spike Carapace. He should take a fall here. No, he's going to be fine.
Look at this 3-man RP, though, from Ash. He was waiting for the Blink Dagger. He gets him back into the cogs. A 3-man cog push. What a play as Ash goes unstoppable. Mike picks up a mega kill off of that, and it doesn't get much better than that.
That was almost a beautiful fight coming out from 2 CHUANZ. They got their pick off. They lost 1 or 2, maybe 3 in the process, but that RP, that skewer sealed the deal, and it looks like 2 CHUANZ feel the same way. They're just going to go ahead and throw in the towel.
Yeah, and of course these are best of 3 series here in CEVO-Main Season 4. And I guess we should plug the tournament a little bit here. We do have slightly over $5,000 in cash prizes between main and open. And of course, you can crowdfund that if you go over to CEVO.com. Check it out. 100% of any donations go towards the prize pool to help support your favorite players. If you're watching here on Play CEVO 2, you can also check out Prove +1. We're not sure who it is over on Play CEVO 1, I believe. Make sure to follow both of these channels. And you can follow me on Twitter at Heliumbrella. And Ted, where can they find you?
Well, I accidentally just closed out of the game, but for those on Twitch, you can find me at TedCasts.
Alright, for those of you still in the game and not on stream, you can follow Chicago Ted at TedCasts on Twitter, and you should. He needs the followers. And we'll be back here for game number 2. I need the followers too, but...
I need them more, I know.
Yeah, he needs them more. Anyways, game 2 coming up soon. Thanks for watching.